Okay, so now we're going to talk about subtracting integers, and this gets to be a little bit different. Um, One thing I want to point out to you is anytime that we have a plus and a minus, it's a neutral. They don't equal anything, but they can be added to any grouping and not take away from the grouping. So this grouping is a positive, negative one, a negative one, even though there's two neutrals there. Now we're back to 0. And I can add this, and now I have a positive one. Even though these chips are here, it's still only a positive one because these are canceling each other out. That's important to know. So let's start with the 3 minus 2. These are positives. So I have 3 positives, and I'm taking 2 positives away, and I'm left with 1 positive. So I'm going to write that answer in here. And I'm just going to write it as a 1. I don't have to put a plus 1 in front of it. Okay? Now, the next one is negative 3 minus a positive 2. This is a positive 2. Down here, I'm subtracting a negative 2. But right here, this is like saying negative 3 minus a positive 2. So I'm going to have 3 minuses. And I go to take away 2 positives. I don't have a single positive here for me to take away. So I can add these as neutrals. So I'm going to add my 2 neutrals. Now I can take away 2 positives. When I take those 2 positives away, what I'm left with is 5 negatives. So I would call my answer negative 5. A negative 3 minus 2 is a negative 5. Notice it kind of looks like they have the same sign and you're adding and keeping. Yeah, it's very much like that. The next one, I'm going to take 3 positives. And I want to take away 2 negatives. Have no negatives to take away. I have none. So I'm going to add those as neutrals. This still says 3 negatives. This still says 3 negatives. Now I'm going to take away 2 negatives. I'm going to take away 2 negatives. Take those away. What I'm left with here is a positive 5. And I would just write that as 5. Positive 5. Let's look at the next one. 3 negatives. And I'm going to take away 2 negatives. Well, I have 2 negatives to take away. I can totally do that. Take away 2 negatives. And I'm left with 1 negative. I want to show you something that you will notice over time as you do these. Anytime you have 2 minus signs being in the together in the middle here, it actually creates a plus. These 2 minus signs actually create a plus. When you have 2 minus signs beside each other, I always think of it as they're running together and they smash and create this. They smash and create a plus. And I always remember that. So anytime you see 2 minus signs, you can literally think it's going to turn into a plus. And you'll see more in the slides as you go through the slides. This one gets to be a little bit more difficult. And if you need help, you can email me today or visit me on Google Hangouts when I put out a Google Hangout. Thanks.